I hope you're having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1940. Oh, that should be 42. Hang on, that didn't change. Oh, let's just change that right now, shall we? Yeah, we can. It's my show. I can do what I want. So just change the heading here because that says the wrong thing. It should be 1942. Day 1942, treasure hunting. Yes. Part of genealogy is one of the cool things I love about genealogy is that we're always hunting for treasure. Whether it is records, whether it is physical items, you're always researching and hunting for answers and things. So today I was clearing out some boxes, and some of these boxes we have not been opened since we left Virginia, and we left Virginia in 2010. And you're probably going, well, how can you tell you haven't opened those boxes? Because of the Packers logo on the outside that we use to move from the movers that we use from Virginia to California. It's their name that's all over the boxes. So I found this really big box, and I was going through it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot about this. I forgot about that. There were some boxes we didn't get to unpack because we wanted to wait till we purchased a home. And as it turned out, we just ended up renting for a long time. And then, of course, I moved into an RV for 5 years, and now I'm in this home, and I still wasn't wanting to unpack because I didn't have a permanent home yet. But moving to New Zealand, I need to unpack all of these boxes and figure out what I'm taking and what I'm not taking. And today I came across some really cool things. And some things were sort of like, yeah, that hasn't been used in a while and will probably never be used again. Like this stamp. It's a really cool stamp. You just pull it out of here and you press it down on let's see if we can get it to work this way. And you press it down on a piece of paper. Oh, it did work. Look, it says, oops, faxed. Who uses fax machines? I will tell you this. I have been surprised because some business cards I've gotten from people who are new to their office that they are in, and it's got a fax number on there. And I'm like, who uses a fax machine? But yeah, we had a stamp that said fax, and it had a little box underneath where you would put the date of the fact that the fax was sent. So this is probably going to end up in file 13. If you don't know what file 13 is, it's called a trash can for some people, or a rubbish bin, or it gets tossed out with the baby, with the bath water or whatever. But yeah, faxed. So that was one of my first finds. It was hilarious. My next find was really cool. Now, Brad loved Tenpin bowling, and we had a really cool dog at the time called Bear. Bear was half German Shepherd and half Doberman. He was a beautiful dog, brown and tan. Beautiful, beautiful dog. And so a friend of his who does wire sculptures created this. Here's Brad with his bowling ball, and here's Bear. Isn't that cute? And yeah, I found it tucked away in a box, and I'd totally forgotten about it. And I remember when his friend who made it gave it to him. And I thought that was pretty cool. He just did this wire sculpture thing of Brad bowling with his dog Bear. So that was a really cool find. Another cool find, I'm probably going to disrupt this stupid thing. I don't know why I put a battery. Oh, actually, I put a battery in it so it would demonstrate it. But another thing I found was this thing. There's a 9-volt battery in the base with a magnet that repels the magnet that's in the ball at the bottom there. And then up the stem here next to each of these twirly things, there's a magnet on the center thing. Hang on a second, stop this for a sec. There's magnets here and here that help this thing swing around, and you just tap it and everything starts going. And there's also a magnet here as well. But yeah, it was just one of those things that Brad would have on his desk, and he loved things like this. So although he never got the one where you have the balls hanging, you hit one and the one at the other end goes off and you can do all sorts of different things with it. Yeah, that was his answer to that. It drove me nuts. The other thing that I found, which was pretty cool, was this binder. And I go, what the heck is this binder? This is, I looked on the spine, and it's got written Brad's Book of Love. And what it is every greeting card that Brad got when he was in hospital for his final stay. All the get well cards that people sent us for Brad were put into here. And we had them hanging up on his walls. We would put them up on the walls and everything for him. But every get well card that was sent to him is in this binder, which I think is really cool. It's very, very special. And I thought about sitting down and going through it, and I thought, nope, I have a mission. I'm on task. I do not have time to be sidetracked. So I didn't get sidetracked. I was very good. I didn't go and pull any of them out and read them. So this is called his Book of Love, and it's full of every get well card he got when he was in hospital for his 87 days. So if you were one of the people that sent him a card during that time, know that it is in that binder, and it was very much appreciated. And I used to go and clear the mailbox and go up to the hospital and sit there and open the cards for Brad and stick them up on his wall for him so he could see them. Then another thing, and do not ask me why Brad bought this. I actually thought he was meant to take it into work. That's what he told me. So we were on our first trip to Alaska, our very first cruise, and it happened to be an Alaskan cruise. We're on Norwegian Star, in cabin 9012 was our cabin number. It was a balcony, and it was towards the front of the ship. And it was a great cruise. It was the very first cruise that Brad and I had ever been on, and we had a blast. And one of the places that we visited, I don't know if it was Ketchikan, Juneau, or Skagway, Brad came across this item that he had to have to put on his desk at work, and it never got taken out of the box. We brought it home, it never got taken out of the box, but it did get packed. It cracked me up because it still has the price tags on it. I was in Skagway because it's got Skagway Hardware written on the label. So Skagway Hardware, it was $24.99 and it was on sale for $18.99. Well, we were one of the last cruises to go through, but this is what it is. It is a candy dispenser. I'll let that sit with you for a little bit. If you want more, and then you've got to use the tail to have the candy come out into the little bucket. He was planning on taking this into work. It never got taken out of the box. I totally forgot that we even had this. So it was in a box that was packed from Virginia. We moved in 2014 and 2010. So that was 14 years ago. And he bought this in 2009. It will go in a place of honor on a bookcase in my new home in New Zealand. It is definitely coming to New Zealand with me because it's such a cool story. I don't even know why we went into a hardware store, but we did. But yes, I remember that. I was going, "You're not getting that." And he goes, "Yes." I said, "What are you going to do with it?" He says, "I'm going to take it into work and put it on my desk." It never got there. It never made. Then my husband, oh my gosh. My husband was, if you want to know how much of a Star Wars fan my husband was, I came across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 newspapers starting on Monday, June 13th, 1977. Across it, and I know why he got this. I haven't opened the papers to have a look at them or read them, but it was really cool just to read some of the headlines on the front page. Like I said, when you're going through new archived newspapers online and everything else, and you're looking at births, deaths, and marriages, that sort of stuff, go back to the front page and see what's on there. Have a look at what commercials that they have, what advertisements they have through there. There's lots of stuff. So they had a Star Wars exclusive serialization takes off today. It's the record-breaking film of the year. Now, part 1 from the book, page A6. And this was on Monday, June the 13th, that they started this series about the movie Star Wars that was coming out. This was 1977. So this would have been the first one. But this is the front page here. Let's see if you can see the whole front page. There you go. You can now see the rest of it. So you can see what some of the headlines were. Oh, look at this. Announcing PSA savings time to San Francisco. What are they actually advertising? Starting June 17th, catch us 5 minutes before the hour every business day. So obviously there's some flight. PSA hourly flights to San Francisco from Los Angeles, and it leave 5 minutes sooner, 5 minutes before the hour. We're leaving early for one good reason, so you can be in the air and on your way ahead of those on the hour crowds on the hour crowds and traffic. Just check the timetable here for PSA savings that best suits you. Set your watch ahead 5 minutes and come on out to LAX and catch us to San Francisco. Yeah, 6:55, 7:55, 8:55, 9:55, 10:55, 11:55, 12:55, 1:55, 2:55, 3:55, 4:55, 5:55, 6:55, 7:55, and 8:55. And the schedule varies slightly Saturdays and Sundays. But yeah, you can take the PSA flights that leave 5 minutes off before the hour and fly up to San Francisco or back to LA. which would be really cool if you were living in San Francisco and you wanted to come down and catch a show in LA. You could do that, go spend the day in LA, fly home again. Yeah, great day out. So that was part one. And then, of course, he has here, let's start at the bottom of the pile. Oh, the Concorde was down again. Exclusive Sci-Fi Spectacular continues, part 2, page A12. Galactic plot thickens. This is the Herald Examiner. This is June 14th, 1977. So you can see Concorde down again. Former girlfriend sues Alice Cooper $7.6 million. Woman CHP officer kills armed suspect. New ruling blocks SST at New York. Yeah. What's on the back page? Let's have a look. Oh, tires. Wow. Buy 3. So you buy the 4th tire. Buy 4 for the 4th. 4 for $67.80. Where do you get tires for $67.80 now? Dang. Okay, so there was that bit. Then there's this piece, Lucas, the Galactic General of Star Wars. This is page 43 from the LA Times calendar, Sunday, June 5th, 1977. So I have an article there about that. I tell you. Then this is for part 3 of the Star Wars things. This is Wednesday, June 15th, so every day for a week. Millions in unpaid bills. County acts to collect on 200,000. 5.5. Oh, hang on. This is a completely different picture. This one here says $5.5 million worth of marijuana seized. Wow. The sick out slows county phone. Oh, the sick out. What's the sick out? Oh, the telephone. So it says here, Los Angeles County telephone operators today joined the sick out campaign to protest pay hike. Offers with more than 300 switchboard workers hampering non-emergency communications. Okay, so I guess they're having a sick out. They were actually on strike. And on the back of this one, we have, save up to 45% to New York, 33% to Boston, up to 43% to Philadelphia. Let's see, New York adults on a Sunday, $268 round trip on American Airlines. If you're going to Philadelphia, $268. If you're going to Boston, $328. That was on a Sunday. What's the cheapest day of the week? That would have been Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at $227 for New York and Philadelphia, and $287 for Boston. Interesting stuff, isn't it? I always like going back and looking at old newspapers. They're fun. Oh, there's Prince Charles, now King Charles. Let's see, this is part 4. LA tax cut in sight, 7% property levy reduction may occur. Princely mediator, what's this? Britain's Prince Charles Wright talks with demonstrators as he leaves the Moonshot Club in London on Wednesday. The protesters were alleging police brutality in the neighborhood. The prince suggested they discuss the allegations with the police. There you go. This was June 16th, 1977. He looks so young there. Oh, a need for a refrigerator. All sorts of size. Look, you got this little compact one for $99. You got this huge fridge freezer thing. Sorry, the family size, 21.7 cubic feet for $689. Cool. Some great. Oh, you want to know about unusual stories? So here's one. That's just caught my eye. Woman 87 has weeks to leave the US. It says here, Florence Fleming is an 87-year-old great-grandmother who walks with a cane and has trouble seeing and hearing. The federal government may force her to leave the country. Mrs. Fleming, a legal alien from Australia who has been living with her daughter since 1970, was notified last Saturday, 1970, so she's been there 7 years, was notified last Saturday that she has until July 9th to voluntarily leave the United States. After that, U.S. Immigration and Naturalization Service said specified proceedings will be instituted to enforce your departure. She's legal, and they're forcing her to leave. So, if you were Mrs. Fleming, Florence Fleming, that was one of your relatives, guess what? She's in the Los Angeles Herald Examiner on Thursday, the 16th of June, 1977. It's tantamount to putting her in the grave. Mrs. Fleming's daughter, Muriel Cowdy, said Wednesday, "It's a terrible humiliation for a woman of her years to be told to get out of your country." Mrs. Cowdy said there was no place for her mother to go or anyone outside of the country who can take care of her. She has glaucoma and has very poor hearing. She couldn't even travel by herself. She came to the United States with her daughter and son-in-law on a visitor's permit and has been renewed periodically. Her problems with immigration officials stem from the fact that she received $200 a month supplemental security income payments for a year starting in February of 1976. Well, this is going to be a very interesting article to read. I might have to go and research that and see what happened to her to see if she did leave the country or was given special compensation. Let's see. Here's part 5 on Friday, June 17th, Bootlegged Rock. See, all in the family. Canadian Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau is greeted at the airport outside Ottawa by his estranged wife Margaret and their sons. From left, Justin, Michael, and Sacha. Trudeau, isn't that the guy that's in power now in Canada? Justin Trudeau was returning from the Queen's Jubilee in London. LA Recordings dealer indicted, Albin seized. And what's on the back page? Oh, stock market. Bonds, shipping news, foreign exchange. Let's see. That's too tiny for me to even try and read. I need my magnifying glass. It's not in the room, though. Then we have part 6. Oh, that's a cool picture. Up, up, and away. The Space Shuttle Orbiter Enterprise, perched atop a Boeing 747, lifts off the runway at Edwards Air Force Base Saturday for its first flight with a crew on board. The 54-minute flight has been delayed 24 hours. Stories and additional pictures on A8. Well, there you go. Space Shuttle Enterprise on top of a 747. Excellent. Yeah, what's on the last page? Knowledge is another form of ignorance. Overweight. Inventors. Answer line. They're involved in a different kind of battle. That's a continuation of an article. So this is pretty cool. And here is the dramatic conclusion of Galactic Series today on page A8. Well, this even has an interview with Marcel Marceau, the great mime. So, Serrano victory, highest court denies school tax case appeal. Heavyweight boxing champion Muhammad Ali kisses his new bride Veronica Porsche after a private civil ceremony at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel yesterday. More than 200 friends and relatives attended the rite, with Superior Court Justice Judge Billy Miles presiding. It was Ali's third marriage, her first. So there you go. That was June 20th, 1977. And then on the back page is the classifieds. Rentals, real estate, pets, automobiles, general for sale, your daily horoscopes on here. Okay, now this is on the back of a second section. Oh, that's a advertising cigarettes. But on the front page of this, here is the interview with Marcel Marceau, all done in mime. What part of the body is most important in illustrating mime? I'm guessing the face. He was performing Tuesday through Sunday at the Greek Theatre. What do you do when pressure gets too great? And after a long evening of performing, how do you feel? Fantastic. That's pretty cool. Yes, how do you interview a mime? With photographs, obviously. So there was that. But also with that was this very tattered, falling apart, as you can see, envelope. And I thought, what the heck is in here? Brad was very much into space and everything. And so in here, you know, here's a booklet on Apollo 17. Here's all these different NASA stickers from the different Apollo manned spacecraft series. Final decals. So he had those in here. Skylab official insignia. This is stuff he... Oh. There's a whole bunch of NASA stuff in here, articles and, oh, photographs. So this one is, it doesn't say, and I can't read any of the signatures. But there's a whole bunch of guys sitting there with suits on and ties and all their signatures underneath. Wish it would say what mission these were. There's another one. Oh, Apollo crew. Astronauts Edward H. White II, Virgil I. Grisham, and Roger B. Chaffee. Prime crew for NASA's first manned Apollo flight. That crew picture. Gemini 11 prime crew, astronauts Richard Gordon Jr. and Charles Conrad Jr. Prime crew of the 7th. He's got all these in archival safe thingamabobs. Wow, that's really cool. Prime crew of 7th manned Apollo mission. You got James A. Lovell Jr., John L. Swigert Jr., and Fred W. Hayes Jr. That was for Apollo 7. Oh, ASTP crewman aboard Apollo Soyuz. And it's got some, I guess it's Russian that's underneath that. These are cool. Prime crew of the 11th manned Apollo mission. You've got Harrison H. Schmitt, Ronald E. Evans, and Eugene Cernan. Oh, it actually has stuff written on the back. Oh, it's got a whole story thingy on the back. This is written in English and in Russian, I'm guessing. Gemini 4 astronaut Edward White takes a walk in space. Cool. That's so cool. Astronaut Garriott performs Skylab 3 EVA. Again, outside the spaceship. That is so cool. Gemini program summary. You've got here the Gemini launch, Cape Kennedy, Gemini 4 EVA, high altitude photography and recovery. Isn't that cool? Skylab space station cluster deployed in Earth orbit. When was that? No, those photos from 1973. Oh, it was printed in 1973. Doesn't give the actual date on the back in the description. Doesn't give the dates. Oh, it's going to be a Viking News on August 20th and again on September the 9th, 1975. Titan Centaur rockets thundered skyward from their Cape Canaveral launch pad near Cape Kennedy Space Center in Florida. It was going to Mars, carrying the first scientific probes. So this is January 22nd, 1977, with the Viking craft on Mars. These are really cool. Oh, the piggyback concept. This is an artist's concept illustrating the 747 Space Shuttle Orbiter carrier ferry mode. The mode is one of several alternatives being considered by NASA for transporting the orbiter from the West Coast to the Kennedy Space Center and for carrying the orbiter up for horizontal test flights. That was an artist's rendition, and we know it happened because I have seen it. I have seen the shuttle on the one that they brought into LA. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here, and there's booklets, magazines, more photographs that he hasn't got in the sleeve things. This is a real. Did you have an astronaut that was in your ancestry? Teammates in mankind's greatest adventure. That's all the different missions, Apollo missions and everything, all the astronauts. And then down here, it's got the key. And then over here, it shows you, it tells you which crew they were from, if they were from Apollo 9, 12, all of that sort of thing. And this one here's got Armstrong on his spacesuit. It says Armstrong and Aldrin right there. How cool is that? That's a really cool poster. There's a whole bunch of other stuff in here too, and yeah, photographs and posters and stuff. Wow, that's so cool. So these are just this is just some of the treasures I found today. Some I didn't even know I had, like this tattered envelope. I've got no idea where that was or where it came from. But I know that my husband was very much into his space thing, and I still have a rock from Cape Kennedy, one in Florida, Cape Canaveral. Brad, one year for his work, they went down to Florida, and then they got taken on a personal tour around Cape Canaveral. They got taken on a personal tour. Their team got taken on, and they were on one of the roads, one of the gravel roads that led up to the launch pads for one of the space shuttles, and so Brad picked up a rock off that and brought it home, and it's actually split equally into. Over time it eventually split into two. And so we've got two halves of it, and it was one that had been where the tracks had run over the rock area, not one from the side. So that was pretty cool. We still have that somewhere. I'm not sure where, but I'm gonna have to find it. Yeah. So those are my treasure hunts from today. Pretty cool stuff. And you know, when you're a lot of this is going to come up when you're helping a family member downsize, or if you're having to clear out a house after somebody has passed and you're now having to go in and clear out their house, their room, their belongings and things. Take time to honor what they enjoyed. You may learn stuff about them. I knew Brad was very much into Star Wars and very much into the space programs and all of that. He loved it. Anything to do with space, he loved. We even had a telescope. We would go out when we were in Virginia, we'd go out into the countryside somewhere and set up a telescope and go stargazing. I had no idea what I was looking at, but it was pretty cool. He would like pull out the telescope and he would tell me what constellations were where, and I was like, how is that supposed to look like somebody branding a sword? I don't get it. I still don't get it, how you get some of these, how they there's a program called Stargaze, an app that you can get on your phone. If I had my phone in here, I would show it to you, but you can point your camera up or down because it will base it on wherever you are. You can point your camera up at a certain star. Like sometimes I see this bright star in the sky and I'm going, well, that's probably Venus. I wonder where Mars is, because sometimes you can see Mars close to Venus or on the same track and that sort of thing as well. And so I'll take the camera out and I point it up there, and it takes a few seconds to orientate itself. And then it tells you, but then it shows you all the constellations. And I'm like, you can't see the stars at this point because it's just after sunset, as usually when I see this. And so you can't see the stars out at that point. Plus, there's a lot of light pollution around the area as well. One thing I'm looking forward to going back to New Zealand is going to places where it's completely dark and just going outside and looking up at the sky. But it will show you the different constellations, and I'm like, okay, so those stars, and I'm like looking at the picture on the phone because it's showing you all the stars and everything, and how what Virgo looks like, and I'm like, I don't get it. How can they say that is that? I don't get it. And Orion, you know, the three lights for the belt. I get the three lights. I get the three lights, the three stars for the belt, but I don't get how they get the rest of the image on there. I'm like, somebody had a very vivid imagination when they came up with these, because looking at their stars and the shapes of the stars and stuff, I'm like, how do they get the constellations out of those? Anyway, that's it from us for today. We went treasure hunting. We didn't actually go treasure hunting today. It just ended up being a treasure hunting trip, especially going through this one box that hasn't been unpacked since it was packed in Virginia 14 years ago. So that was pretty cool. There's some cool stuff in there. So yeah, not sure what I'm going to do with all this stuff yet, but definitely taking the moose to New Zealand with me though, because that's pretty cool. That's gonna have a place of honor. Oh, and the other thing I found, and I didn't bring it in here, was when Brad graduated high school, a friend of his or a friend of the family's, I can't remember which, made this plaster wizard, and it's holding a book. And on the outside of the book, it has Brad's name written on it. And on the inside, it's holding the book open. And on the inside, it's got the name of his high school and the graduation date written in there. It is really cool. And I didn't bring it in here. It's sitting out in the kitchen on a space because I've run out of flat surface space here. And the other thing that we had was, and it's a wizard. He stands about this tall. He's really, really cool. And then we have this eagle on a platform with its wings out. And it's probably stands about this, and it's got a wingspan like this. And that's sitting out on the island, on the kitchen island at the moment, because I don't have anywhere else to put it right now. But it's got "In God We Trust" on the top of the plinth, the thing that it's standing on. It's got a thing that it's standing on. It's got its wings out. It's really, really cool. I remember when we bought that. I wanted an eagle in the house, and found that one, and I really, really liked it. So we got that one. And that's sitting out in the other room. But I'd totally forgotten we had that. I'd totally forgotten about Brad's wizard. I'd totally forgotten about the eagle. And so it's been a trip down memory lane today while trying to stay on task. I found a shoebox full of photographs and things. And I'm like, no, stay on task, Ellen, stay on task. So right now what we're going to go do is we're going to go and got some stuff to put out into the recycling bin, and then that goes out tonight for collection tomorrow, and there'll be some trash going out as well. So we got rid of a few boxes today too, and they're all sitting over there broken down, ready to go out to the recycling. So it was a really, really good day, and I didn't take time to pour through things. It was just like, oh, this is this, well, what's this? Have a quick look. And it was like, oh, that'd be good to sit down. No, we got to go put this here for now for safekeeping. And found some journals and stuff, and I found his USC helmet. So I have a friend who, in her marketing thing, she was licensed to be able to produce like football helmets with NFL and NCAA logos and everything on them. And Brad went to USC, Southern Cal, and so he got, so for his birthday one year, I got him a helmet, which is painted in the USC colors with the USC logo on it. I also got him a desk helmet, which has a slot for business cards and a place for pens to go. And there was something else. There was some pom-poms in there. And we made up a gift basket for him with the USC stuff. And I found the player's helmet today. And what they've done on the player's helmet is that they've actually made it so it can't be worn. It is an official USC helmet, but it's been made so it cannot be worn by anybody. They've got a special plate inside it, and you try and take that plate out of there, it's going to ruin the helmet. But it's a really cool keepsake to have on the bookcase or whatever in the man's cave and that sort of thing. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this USC stuff. I have to figure that one out too. But anyway, with that, we are out of here. Go out and have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific, I think. Hang on. Let me double check. Yes, 6 p.m. Pacific tomorrow. I was trying to remember if this was the week in between or the week of my class that I do, that when we have to push it back to 6:30. So it's a 6 p.m. one tomorrow. Have a super